Hey guys, welcome back to another Tumbler tutorial. We're going to squeeze in one last Halloween tutorial. I know this is last second, but I had this print from last year from 311 Co that I didn't get to use, and I just ran across it and I was like, you know what? We're going to throw this together and we're going to make a tutorial out of it. So stick around and I will show you how we do this. I wanted to make sure that I got the ghost and the word boo in the stripe that I was doing with the vinyl. So I cut off a little bit from the top and then I measured my cup into 5 equal parts, and I'm going to take 2 pieces of vinyl and then we're going to have 3 glitter sections every other. So we're going to have glitter, vinyl, glitter, vinyl, glitter. And originally I'd planned on doing the 3 glitter stripes the same, and once I got it on there, my measurements were off. As I've said 100,000 times in the past, I hate measuring things. I'm terrible at it. So I was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna make the stripes go biggest to smallest at the bottom for the glitter sections, and then we're going to keep the vinyl sizes consistent. So you'll notice they're a little bit smaller at the bottom, but the size goes from big to small in this design. So we're going to mark off a straight line on the tumbler, and once you've got your stripes cut, we're going to go ahead and lay those down on the cup. And once you get back to that seam, you're going to score it and then use your X-Acto to cut off the excess. And then we're going to go down to the second stripe. We're going to follow the same process. Like I mentioned earlier, I just went in and I marked 5 spots. You'll see the little dots there on my tumbler where I measured off where each stripe is going to be. So using that and using that straight line, I just measured it up and applied the vinyl. Once you've cut off the excess, we're going to go over that vinyl with some painter's tape to make sure that when we spray paint the tumbler that it's not going to get any overspray on the vinyl. And once that's covered up, we're going to put this on our little stick to go out and spray paint it. And I'm using hot pink for the top, medium pink for the middle, and then white for the base, of course. And since we're just barely going to ombre these glitter colors into the next section, I'm not going to worry about blending my spray paint colors because you're not really going to be able to see it. So we're going to start out with Bunny Suit from Chase Rae. I always start in the middle and I'm pretty heavy-handed around the middle section, and then I fade it up just a little bit into the hot pink section, and then I'll fade it a little bit down into the white section. Now you'll notice in my center glitter section that I didn't go really heavy-handed on the edges of like where the tape is, because I still wanted to be able to fade that hot pink from the top down into the middle section, and then of course the white into the bottom of the light pink section. So I'm going to leave right here. If you had covered up all of the epoxy, you wouldn't be able to fade this hot pink into this middle section. So just bear that in mind, and we're going to tap off any excess, and then we'll go ahead and fill the bottom in with the white, giving it full coverage at the bottom, and then we are going to blend that up into the bottom half of the light pink section. I know I'm giving you guys a lot of descriptions here. You'll see when it all gets done. So we faded a little bit of the hot pink into the middle section, a little bit of the white into the middle section, and then we're going to go ahead and use either printer paper, whatever paper you've got around, and make sure we're going to pat down any of those chunky glitters. I wouldn't worry about it too much if you're using a finer cut glitter. It's not going to matter as much. But with chunky glitters, I always like to do this just to make sure that I can cut down on the amounts of epoxy coats that I'm having to do. And then I pressed a little too hard on my paper, so I had to go back over the hot pink section and fill that in again because I exposed some of that spray paint in the bottom. So once that is all flattened out, we are going to immediately remove that painter's tape to make sure that it doesn't stick to the epoxy while it's curing under the glitter. And once that has cured overnight, we're going to go ahead and spray seal that with triple thick spray. Or if you like polyacrylic or any sort of glitter sealer, you can do that as well. Personal preference. And then once we've got it all sealed, we'll go in with our vinyl and epoxy. Once my second coat of the Flynn Sisters epoxy has cured, I'm going to go around the top rim with my Dremel, and I'm just going to push back any of the pokey glitter bits to expose a fine line of stainless steel. This is going to allow your final coats of epoxy to adhere to the top rim of your tumbler, giving it a really good final coat so it doesn't get compromised when you sell this or use this. If it gets bumped, it's not going to chip and kind of like remove itself from the stainless surfaces easily. And I went around, made sure that there weren't any pokey bumps before putting my vinyl striping on. I'm going in with a kind of gunmetal metallic. It's from Teckwrap Craft for that bottom stripe here. This is measured at 0.10 by 11.5 width. And then the top vinyl is a light pink pearlescent. It's also from Teckwrap Craft, and that is measured 11.5 width by 0.08 height. And I'm just going to layer those over top of one another. You'll notice here where I mentioned the glitter sections are going from bigger to smaller at the bottom. It's more noticeable once I got the vinyl on. I made it a little bit more intentional. I moved the vinyl striping down just a little bit at the end to make sure that they were looking intentional, like size-wise, going biggest to smallest, and then I didn't accidentally make them different sizes. So hopefully I camouflaged that well. And then once we've got the vinyl stripes on, I'm going to put this back on my turner with a coat of polyacrylic, or you could use Mod Podge, whatever your favorite sealer is. I wouldn't recommend spray sealing just because it doesn't really lock in vinyl that well, but as soon as that polyacrylic was dry to the touch, I'm going to go ahead and finish it up with epoxy. If you want to add a decal or extra glitter like you'll see me do here in a second, you're welcome to do that as well, or just put your final coat on and you'll be all set. This final coat is Flynn Sisters regular setting epoxy, and I used about 30 milliliters in total. You'll notice here that I went and put some glitter into my epoxy. I made sure to put epoxy on the tumbler first, and then I took some Venetian from PEACHY and sprinkled that into the excess epoxy that I had left over, and I just put it in the vinyl sections. And I thought I was going to have to do another final coat because I figured this glitter would give me a few little pokey bits, but it didn't. It was completely smooth to the touch. I have 3 coats of epoxy in total on this tumbler, and it's completely finished. So I hope you guys love this quick last minute tutorial. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell button for future tutorials, and I will see you guys in the next video.